Hi, this is Taylor Schultz from Schultz Designs. Welcome to the joys of painting. All right, today I'm going to show you guys how to do 2 sets of overlapping flames over a silver metal flake base on this skate deck. We based it out with Orion Silver Max. We carried it with some, some flake with some SG100, some Paint Huffer Mini Silver. We cleared it with 3 coats and I knocked it down, and this is where we're at. We're ready to tape. I'm going to go ahead and first things first is wipe everything down with some wax and grease remover. Get it all nice and clean. It's important to make sure your hands are clean as well. Once I got all that clean, I'm going to go ahead and blow it off a little bit. I'm going to start taping. I'm going to do like a 1/4 inch border around the outside, maybe like a 1/2 inch in from the outside edge, and then that's going to be my border. Inside I'm going to do 2 sets of flames overlapping. I'm going to show you guys how to do that. Okay, we have some FBS fine line tape. We're going to go ahead and start with the border, mask that off, and then start doing 2 sets of flames. If you have trouble doing this, what you can always do is take a piece of 1/2 inch tape and just put it along the edges like a measuring, then lay this out and then pull that piece of tape. I've done it so long that I don't really need to do that, so we're just going to keep it and just do a freehand. That's most of the time what I do. What I tend to do is bring the tape back a little bit where I started, pull that, cut it, and then bring my connection into it, overlapping. Yellow 3/4 masking tape, just mask off that edge so we can save this to be silver. Okay, we got our border set. We're gonna do 2 sets of overlapping flames in here. We don't really know what we're gonna do with this outside color yet. We're gonna do something that feels good later. I'm probably gonna do some candies on this because it's all metal flake. But let's get going and start masking off the flames. So with flame layout, I normally don't do any sort of chalk marks or taping or transfers or anything. I just tape freehand. That's the only way that I've ever done it. That's the only way I know how to do it. Even on a car on the hood, I always do one side and then I look and do the other. I don't do any transfer or anything to get it symmetrical. You definitely have to practice laying it out. This is just some 1/8 inch green fine line tape that we got. We're just gonna do 1 set of flames and then we'll mask that off and then cut it and do the second, but we'll get to that later. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start laying it out. It's important that you take this tape and just go past the point a little bit. And it takes a little bit of practice, but you'll get it. All right, so we got our first set of flames laid out. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna come back and cut these to a point. So it's pretty important that you don't cut through the tape into the base. That's a lot of practice. You just gotta do that. It's one of those things that you just have to do with time. Some people use a X-Acto blade. I tend to just use a regular razor blade because I'm a pinstriper as well, and I like to hold this like a pinstriping brush. So let's just go ahead and start cutting some tips. You gotta take this one that's shorter and follow that into the one that's longer and cut following that piece of tape, just like that. So we cut all those to a nice point. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take a different color tape and we're gonna mask off inside these flames. So this flame is gonna get reversely masked. We're gonna do that right now. I do kind of a rip and tear. What you can do too is you could squeeze the tape I'm sweating like a nun in a field of cucumbers over here. So this set of flames is going to stay the silver base, and then we're going to have some traditional red, orange candy flames on the background, kind of overlapping. Now I got my flames all reverse masked, cut out, ready for the second layer of flames to go over it. So we're going to do just the same fine line tape, and we're just going to lay out a second set of flames. This is where it's going to start to get confusing, especially if you're doing a hood or a whole car or something like that. There's a lot of tape going on, there's a lot of things going on, so you just got to be mentally fit to do this, or else you're going to start losing your mind. So now we're going to take a different colored masking tape, and we're going to mask off on the outside of these flames like a traditional flame job. Then we're going to come back and cut where we want it to overlap. I'll show you how to do that. You take your time and just make sure you get every little piece masked off. Last thing you want to do is have a blow through and have to come back and fix it, especially if you're doing a big job and you're not cleared it, you just base coated it. Okay, we have our second set of flames masked off. I'm going to go back and cut where I couldn't fold the tape. I'm going to go back and just cut some of these overlapping stuff that I have. Then I'll talk about how we're going to make it overlap. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cut where the flames underneath cross the flames on top. So now that the flames on top are going under the other flames, if that makes sense. So let's go ahead and we're just going to cut some of these. So now they're going to be intertwining. Okay, so now we've cut all of our areas that are going to overlap. Kind of looks weird now, but now we're going to spray this flame job on top that's traditionally masked. Not reverse masked, but the one that's over here. It's kind of, this is where it gets a little bit confusing, but we're going to walk you through it. All right, we're going to spray some candies over this masked off flame pattern. We're just going to mix the candy in with some SG100, mix 2 to 1 with some RU311. Three colors we're going to do are pagan gold, apple red, and tangerine. We're going to start off with the pagan gold. Don't need a lot because we're just doing a little skateboard. Try not to do over 20%. Let me get a stir stick. What we're going to use to spray this is just a little jam gun. It's nothing special. Blow it off, make sure that there's no pieces of tape left, anything like that. And we're just going to go ahead and just spray a nice even coat of gold over the whole thing. This out. We're just going to add tangerine to this. The pagan gold's not going to really matter. It's going to get drowned out a little bit by the tangerine. I'm just going to add a little bit to that. We're not even going to clean out the gun. Why? Because you don't really have to. Got that mixed up. Add some orange. I'm gonna neck the gun down to its smallest fan pattern. I'm just gonna go around and fade the edges. Okay, we got all the edges faded, so now it's gold with a little orange fade around the edge. We're gonna mix up some red and just do the tips. We're gonna use our same mixture of the orange and everything. There's no point in mixing anything else. Just gonna take some red and add it to that. Still haven't cleaned the gun. Leave that. A little red. We're just gonna fade the tips. A little bit of red. Can you put your phone on silent? Our flames sprayed. Now it's important that we're gonna unmask these flames but leave the second set behind. That's kind of why we use 2 or 3 different colors of tape, is because now it's painted, it's kind of hard to tell. So once we unmask it, we're gonna see that this is a brown set of tape and we're leaving the green set of tape. So we're gonna go ahead and unmask it. So now we have it unmasked. You can kind of see which ones we're talking about when we cut to overlap them. So what we're gonna do back now is we're gonna take a little bit of black in the airbrush and we're gonna drop shadow around the first set of flames that we masked off, not going over the second. So we're just gonna lightly airbrush, do a little drop shadow, just so we know when we're pinstriping, we know where the flame is. So we're gonna go ahead and do that right now. All right, all I did was take a little bit of black base, reduce it 1 to 1.5. So I'm gonna run it through my HPC airbrush here. We're just gonna go around the flames, drop shadow a little bit. Shadow's killing me. Right, you can see us drop shadowed it, so now we're gonna unmask everything and we're gonna pinstripe the flames. And you're gonna see the shadow, and that's where we're gonna pinstripe the edge. It helps me as a guideline to where I taped. So now I can come back and just pinstripe the edge with some color. So now we got it all unmasked. And kind of rub it down, make sure we don't have any tape left over. I'm gonna start with the colored flame striping, and then I'm gonna come back and do the silver flame. We're striping with some UO reducer. We're gonna do lime green, U32, and we're gonna do some violet, U29. So let's start with the green. All right, we got our green pinstriping down. Now I'm gonna come back with some violet and do the second set of flames. Once we get that color on there, you can really see the difference with the two set overlapping. Go ahead and clean my brush, get to it. Right, now we got the violet all pinstriped. You can really see now the layers of everything kind of overlapping, going in and out of each other. We're gonna take a little intermission. We're gonna come back. I'm gonna do some another color around the border, and then we're gonna do some white gold leafing around the edge.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed the break. I'm gonna unmask this, then we're gonna do a little border color. Our pinstriping is now dried, and we're just gonna unmask it and maybe do some black around the edge. I don't know, maybe some purple. See what we got in the old cabinet. All right, now that we did that, we got it unmasked. We're gonna mask this off so we can spray this little border color. Tape. Let's get your paper. I'm gonna mask off. This time I'm gonna use some paper. Wonderful weather we're having here today, Justin. I feel like I'm on the fucking surface of the sun. With a wind chill factor of nothing. Fuck yeah, Justin, fuck yeah. Now we're gonna take this in the booth. I think I'm gonna spray the edge purple. We'll be back. All right, sprayed the purple. We're gonna unmask it. We're gonna let this dry for a little bit, then we're gonna do some leafing. If I can do that. Fuck is that noise? Everything. All right, so now purple's on there, purple's dry. We're gonna come back. We're gonna mask off this area, pull this tape and then put another piece of tape here so we have a 1/4-inch border. And then we're gonna do some white gold leaf. All right, let's go ahead and mask this off. We masked our border off. Now I'm going to brush on some gold leaf size made by Dukes. I'm just going to go do one even layer around the border. All right, our sizing is pretty dry. You want it to squeak with your knuckle, but not stick. That's when you know it's ready. We're going to go ahead and remove the tape. Some people like to leave the tape. I like to remove the tape. Now we're going to apply our white gold leaf. Let me grab it. Okay, this is 12-karat patent white gold. We're going to start at one side and work our way to the other. All right, we got our leafing on the sides. Gently use this makeup brush and just brush off the excess like so. Just gently working it with some shop air. If you blow too hard, you're going to blow the leaf off, so I just gently do it. I'm going to take a rag with some of our wax and grease remover, and there's a couple little spots that are just sticking on the edges that I'm just going to wipe off. Boom. We're going to let that set up for a while, and then we're going to come back and we're going to turn it. So I'm going to turn this. You can put this in the drill. I normally just do it by hand. Start with one section, try and evenly do it around the whole thing as you can. There's no real rhyme or reason to it. You just got to practice. All right, so we got the whole border turned. Now I'm going to stripe each side of this with two different colors. It's pretty simple, just a bunch of straight lines. We got our blue pinstriped, and we're going to do like a magenta on the other side. All right, we got it done. Let's get some clear on this thing and see how it looks. All right, Rick Ross, coming to you live from the paint shop. All right, we got our clear coat on there. We got 3 coats of House of Color UC21. Buries all the graphics really well. Make sure to tune in next time for the next episode of How To with Taylor Schultz. Let's do that again. All right, we got our clear coat on there. We got 3 coats of UC21. Buried all the graphics really well. From this stage, there's probably a minimal amount of polishing that we could do if we really wanted to show quality finish, or we could re-clear it again. For this project, we're just gonna leave it. But that's it. And stay tuned for the next episode of me painting on YouTube. What the fuck are we calling this thing? You don't have any ideas?
No ideas.
Nothing.
Nothing.
The joy of painting. Sweat like a nun in a field of cucumbers. By myself this weekend, just kill 2 sign of sight.